Hello, good afternoon. Let's scoot towards the middle. I am here a bit later today than my normal morning live. I'm just going to check though that I'm live in the right place, because that's always a good place to start. Oh, it's warm in here today. I've got some windows open, but it is warm. It's breezy out, but it's very humid. Nice warm breeze. So I've been dashing around this morning, so I changed my plans last minute. So sorry for those of you that were expecting me to be here at 9:30 on my usual slot this morning. But with it being school holidays, sometimes I have to change things around. And Evsie had her first swimming lesson this morning, so I thought I would be around to help out with the other children while she was doing that. So she got on really well anyway, and she loved swimming. She came out and said she really enjoyed it. She's swam before, but that was her first lesson. So I'm not expecting loads of people on today. It's a bit of a funny time of the day to be here. But I know with it being school holidays, some of you may be around and about and might be able to just hop on. If not, obviously we've got the live, and I know a lot of you do catch up on the live, on the replay over here on my Facebook page, but also on my YouTube channel as well. So if you are joining me on the replay, thank you for stopping by, and please do say hi. So today I'm going to be using a bundle from the autumn winter, we call it the July to December mini catalogue, but it's kind of like our winter seasonal catalogue. And also using some of those lovely I think it's called Rings of Love paper. So I'm going to be doing a bit of fussy cutting today. I did promise you that I would be cutting out the sheet that has the mushrooms and things on it, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. So non-festive, nothing to do with Christmas, even though the Window Wishes is kind of mainly a Christmas set. I'm going to be using it for some kind of like masculine, possibly, but sort of autumnal projects. So right, I'm going to turn you down to my desk and we can have a quick look. I was actually going to scoot to the page, but we'll get to that in a moment. So just bear with the palm of the hand while I get you all, oh gosh, I've got everything in the way today, straightened out. You can see in my ceiling there, didn't have my hand over the camera. Probably saw up my nostrils as well when I leant forward, but there you go. Right, let's zoom in. Hello, Margaret, how are you doing? Let's wait for catch up and see if we need to jiggle around a bit. Such a delay. We could be good where we are. Hey, Lucianne, how are you, my lovely? How are you all doing? Light is on. Don't want to move my grid too much. I want it to set down in its place. Once it's straight, then I will tape it down. So you can see the bundle that I'm going to be using today. So it's the Window Wishes. You'll find it, scoot that way a little bit and just go with it. If we're crooked today, we're crooked. It's going to be one of those days, I have a feeling, kind of like all out of sorts of not being here this morning. So let's find it in the catalogue. Window Wishes. Let's have a quick scoot. I didn't have time to put a marker on my page last minute. So here it is on page 36. Fabulous bundle. I used this last week. I used it with my team as well. We did some really sweet Christmas projects with it, and a non-Christmassy one, but just love that window die there. So really good set, but not just for Christmas. Then I thought, as we are running to the end of this fabulous promotion, that we'd use this gorgeous paper yet again. Is it called Rings of Love? It sure is. I kind of want to say Tree of Rings. So it's this paper here. So remember, this one is free when you spend £45. It's a great choice. It coordinates with the Ringed with Nature bundle, which is this stamp set that has a little house on it. So it stamps this little house, got some greetings. It stamps the lovely like tree slice. It's great, and it's got dies that go with it. So a fabulous bundle. Gosh, it is warm in here. Very warm. I've got bits and pieces everywhere to show you. So those are the products we're using. Let's bring in the papers. Let's move those out of the way. So I did some cards, put you back over there. I did some cards, they're here actually, on a previous live where I fussy cut these houses out, and this paper honestly is such a must. Such a must. So I was inspired by the colours in this paper to create these. But these sheets are just fabulous. They just create such quick cards. So if you're hopping on, please do say hello. So we've got this lovely, I'll show you this side first, this lovely tree print. And then like this lovely meadow. And then I'll flip them and show the other sides. This one I do feel is kind of quite Christmassy. It reminds me of a poinsettia. Got some great colours in here. Very autumnal one with acorns and oak leaves. This one is really pretty with the birds. Hi Elaine, how are you? You're catching me all the way from Spain. Bless you. Are you an hour behind there? I have to think. So like, are you lunching or are you like in siesta? Bless you. Have a fabulous time. And then this sheet here, which is what I'm going to be using today. So weather here is windy, overcast. Sun keeps trying to come out, but it's very mild. I've literally just got back and I think, let's have a look at the temp in here. It's 24.5 in here, but it said it was 20, I think it was 21 or was it 26 outside? Can't remember. So these are the reverse. So some good sort of usable patterns. You're an hour ahead, so you'll be in siesta mode soon. I should imagine you're sat on a sun lounger with a pina colada or something very nice, just sunning yourselves away. So do enjoy. Right, those are the papers I'm using. And going to be doing a bit of fussy cutting. I have already cut some bits ready. Let's pull in my card kit. So I've got 2 cards, and if I get chance, I've got a little box to create, but we'll see how time goes today. So, right, we're going to start today with a base of crumb cake, and it's my usual measurement of 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. So we're just going to crease that one down the middle. And other pieces that I've got in here, I've got a front layer which measures 3 3/4 by 5 3/8, which is quite a standard front side for me. One of the products I'm using, I've just turned my back on you to find it, is the timber, because I feel it just goes so well with kind of masculine-y, autumnal kind of projects. And remember, this is another free celebration offering, so do not miss out on getting that one free. And then I've got some scrap bits and pieces here, so quite a bit going on my card today. But we'll see how we go with time, as I said. We'll see how we go. Right, let's pull in some scrap. And this is a photopolymer set. I am also going to be using this greeting, Let's Celebrate You, from, of course, the Celebrate with Tags, another one that I can't put down. And I will, of course, be using this die set, just for one of the dies, just for the circle of 2, actually, for these 2. But you see me pulling this one out all of the time. It's such a great one to create with. Just such handy pieces in there, the tags and everything. So I think I've mounted up everything I need. But love this set. Love it for Christmas and non-Christmas. Right, let us start. I've mounted up. Today we're going to call it a swag. I'm not really sure. There are different ways different words. We were thinking of garland. We were thinking of, it's not really a bow. But we're going to ink up this bit of greenery. I didn't show you my colour combo. I mean, it's kind of inspired by the paper. So we've got Pool Party, Evening Evergreen, Crumb Cake and Soft Suede. And then, of course, in the papers, we've got like a red and a yellow. And I like using the So Saffron and the Sweet Sorbet with it. But if I have a look, I've got a feeling it is, excuse me, Poppy Parade and Crushed Curry. Those are like the red and the yellows that are actually in this paper. But I kind of think when you've got pattern paper, you can get something that's quite close to it that will sort of blend with it. So let's lay out the inks. Oh, make a bit of room. I seem to have like a busy desk already. We've only just started. So we'll start with our stampy bits. There's not a huge amount of stamping because I want to use this sheet here, which you can see I've heavily been trimming into, but look at all of these images that can be hand cut. How many cards do you think you could make just with this one sheet alone? Of course, you've got to be loving your pair of scissors and your fussy cutting, but I know a lot of you you do enjoy that. Let's open up them all and have them ready in front. So I'm going to start first with the Evening Evergreen. So there's a few of you on. Let's just ink this up. It's quite a big one. If you can see, it just doesn't quite fit the ink pad, so you have to move it around a bit, and that's when you have to be careful about kind of getting ink where you don't want it. So just be conscious of that. So we're going to have one of these, and I might experiment a little with this and not do it exactly the same as I did on my original, just to see if we get a slightly different look. So we need that one. We also need, from the set, we've got this cute little house, and I love the car. I'm not using the car today, but I think this is really good for when you want to use this as a non-Christmas set. So I'm going to do my house same colour as I did when I did this previously, which I think might have been last week. And I'm going to do my house in Crumb Cake. And then we're going to have a darker roof in Soft Suede. And we can hopefully run all of these through together. I also need to do my greeting. Let's find a scrappy bit for that. And as I said, this is from the Celebrate with Tags. Okay, so it's this one here. Just adjust my light a bit. And I'm going to stamp that twice. I'm going to do it in Soft Suede. Don't really need the mat for this one because it's a cling. So I'm going to stamp one there, and I'm hoping that we don't have a repeat of last week's episode where I had the super smudge. Do you remember the super smudge? It was quite a major, wasn't it? If you didn't see it, you need to go back and watch it. It was the biggest smudge I've ever made in my life, I think, but it all worked to plan. Now I've just inked this again, and I'm going to stamp this right out of the way over that side. And I'm going to use those celebration tags to cut those out in a moment. Right, let's move inks out of the way. I think I need to cut something out before I do any more stamping. So let's do a little bit of cutting. Let's pull in our plates. Find some washi tape. Oh, we're on a new roll of washi. Got this nice marble one. And then bring in the dies. Now, I meant to show you this before I stamped it, because I didn't check that everything lines up. So when you have a stamp in photopolymer that lines up with a die, you have to be a bit cautious about how you're mounting it onto your block. And what I would do is, before I would inkless, in fact, let's give it a clean. I would mount it on my block and then take my die and sit it over the top, and to just check that it's in the right place. Because with photopolymer, it's very easy. Am I using this again? If not, I'm just going to pull it off. It's very easy when you're mounting to just stick it down. That's very exaggerated, but to just stick it down. And then when you stamp it and die cut it, you can see that it's definitely not going to line up. So I always recommend that you lay your stamp down on your surface and just let it, let's put it down on here so you can actually see, kind of let it do its natural form. Pick it up, then take your die and kind of hold it over. See, that looks pretty well lined up. So just a little tip when you've got, especially dies like this, where you could quite easily move, stamps, I mean images, where you could quite easily move the stamp around on your block. So we want that one there. We want the little house with the roof. And I also want this piece here. I want this center panel. So let's tape all of these down. Have I got any washi tape on the go? No, and this is going to be, I'm going to pull a big piece off, stick it on my trousers a couple of times on and off, just to take the initial stickiness away from it. Gosh, I can't see. My phone is right in my view. So I'm hoping this is going to line up okay, because I didn't check it beforehand. But I might just, as I'm taping it, pull it a bit in the direction and tape it down and hope that it stays. So let's just line all of these dies up. You're not sticking. And then we'll run these through to start with. Oops, such a job to see when you can't see directly over. And then I just want the center, this center piece from here. So I'm hoping that I've put this scrap in for this and for nothing else in my kit. Move those out of the way. And then I'm going to show you a little tip, a little trick with this die here. So I'm just going to run those through quickly. Oh, crunks and it creaks and it cracks. As I've said, this is a new bit of washi tape, so be very careful to pull it off gently without tearing. So I just want that center panel. Move all of these bits. And then we've got the little roof. Leaves quite a good excess amount of white in these two. And then the actual house. Let's put those back. And then hopefully this one has lined up okay. But if you do what I said with a little tip of lining it up, it's a little bit off over this side, but it's okay. It will be fine. I may not even use that bit. I was going to experiment with my design, wasn't I? So we shall see. Right, the other two things I need to die cut, and that is using the Celebrations tags is this circle and this lovely banner. So we'll just run those through as our sentiment. And I think this is quite a good general one. Let's celebrate you. That can kind of act for any occasion, I think. Covers all the bases. Right, we'll just run that through quickly. Be gentle when I pull it off. We get that lovely stitched sentiment, and then I've chopped out the let's and the you, and we're just gonna have the word celebrate in that little banner. And then I've got 2 more bits I need to die cut, so quite a bit. I found that this set with the dies does require quite a bit of die cutting. Right, which way do I want to do this? Let's take that bit out first because we don't need that. Right, what I want to do is create a double-ended label on here, frame. So I'm going to run this through my machine in this direction, but my top plate, I'm going to stop it around there. In fact, if I put it in my machine, doesn't make any difference, does it? My brain's working in overdrive now. But you want to leave it about that much or so from the end. We don't want it to cut right to the end. The wind is blowing everything off my desk. Otherwise, it's just going to cut the whole shape out. So if I cut that quickly and then show you, you will know what I mean. I'll end it right of the way out. I'm hoping this works because it was just a bit of an experiment. So if I pull off the washi, we end up with this. Okay, so it's partially cut. We haven't cut the square end. Now what I want to do is pop it back in like this so that I can give you the measurement of this piece. I'm just going to push the window up slightly. Close the bed a little bit. There's a lot of breeze coming in through there and blowing things off of my desk. So I think this measures 4 1/8 for this particular size, yeah. So it's 4 1/8 in length. I've cut my first piece so the edge is near the bottom, and now I want to put this part of the die near the top, and I've put it into the grooves. So I've kind of placed these pieces back into the groove of the die, and then what I'm going to do is just cut this bottom half. So I will put my plate again only up to here so that it doesn't cut this piece. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in my machine and run it back towards me. So I'm putting it in the back of my machine, pushing that top plate in first and then winding it back towards me. And then what happens is when it hits the end of this plate, it stops cutting, and hopefully it's worked. So we're left with a brand new shape, a lovely frame, and of course the centerpiece, which we're going to use for something else. So a little tip to stretch that window die a little further. What else do I need to do with that? I think that's it. I've just got one more bit of die cutting to do on here, but we'll do that in a second. Right. I need to add a bit of colour. Let's pull in this. Need to add a bit of colour to this piece. So this is the inside. Just put a mark on that. This is the inside of the actual window frame. I'm going to use Pool Party and my trusty blending brush. And I'm just going to add some blue to the top of here because we're just going to create like a little scene on here. So we're kind of doing a window, but it's not a window. We're just creating a frame. Okay. And we'll leave it at that. I think that will be enough against the white background. And then onto this. Can't pick it up. I want to stamp this lovely naked tree. So this is again from the Window Wishes. It's this one here. It's a very autumnal looking tree, come winter looking tree, isn't it? Because there are no leaves on it. And I'm going to use the Evening Evergreen. Just ink it up. And I need to think roughly where I want it. I might just have to guesstimate. Or shall I do it after? Didn't want that to happen. Knew it was going to be one of those days. Let's see if we can just line it in. That was a really poor. I'm going to have to do that again. Can't really use the other side. Yeah, we will. We'll use the other side. So when you die cut, you always get a rough edge. I'm just running my nail along just to kind of flatten that edge. Let's start again. Please don't let it be like another week like last week. Things going wrong. Just going to add some Pool Party just to the top part of this frame, just to give it a bit of colour. And I think we'll do the tree after. But first, I want to cut this piece of Evening Evergreen. And then in the window dies, we've got these two, I should say. I was going to say three. Like scenery. Move everything out of the way. So these two here, kind of like a scenery, like an edge of a hill or whatever, ground. What I want to do, let me just make sure we can go that way. And I just want to chop off, where's my bottom? Just need like a hill. So I'm just going to run that through my machine very quickly. Try not to do anything else wrong. And just pull that off. Oh, that's stuck quite firmly. Don't want to tear it. So we end up with a nice kind of hill edge like that. Can you see? And the width of this is going to sit under here like this. So I'm not too worried about, let's just chop off those ends. So we've got a lovely edge there. And I think I'm going to do this first and then stick the back on when I roughly know where I want my tree to go. So I think, I mean, I have cut that. That looks like the correct width. This measures 2.5 inches. So if I add a bit of Tombow just around the bottom of here, move you back out of the way. And we'll just add a little run of adhesive and then we'll chop off the excess that we don't want. Start with that kind of straight and want it just up from the bottom, because we're going to put our little house on here as well. Just straighten that up a little bit. Like that. Got a little squidge of glue coming out there. Oh, I can't get it. And then I'm just going to snip off. Gosh, I am warm. Randomly, I'm going underneath so that I'm not cutting right to the edge. So I've just kind of gone underneath like that. And then this panel here that we went wrong on this side is going to go underneath like this. And it fits perfectly under there. Now I just need to get my tree to sit on there. Where are all these bits from? From my cutting plate. Hello, if you are joining. I can see there's a few of you on here. I need my mats. And what I might do, just to help me, is pop that back in. And then just do a little pencil line here, just so I know where kind of the bottom of the tree should be. So I've just inked that in Even and Evergreen. So I need to have a bit of the trunk coming out of the ground. Hope I've done this high enough. It was a bit of a fail as well, but never mind. It'll be fine. Can you see I just didn't quite get enough ink on there, but it's fine. All is not lost. So let's pop some Tombow on the back of here. I might just quickly rub out that pencil line. If I can get my rubber out. That's it, in case it shows. And then we'll just sit this on top. Like that. So it's only attached at the bottom there, but that's fine. So we've ended up with this lovely ovally frame with a little scene going on. Now I need to emboss this layer. I have a feeling I'm not going to get to my third project. I've got a lot of work to do today, and I did dash out, as I said this morning. I've been out with the grandchildren. I've just embossed this one, and the road was closed on my way there this morning. So I left here about 9:30, and the way that I would normally go, the road was closed, but they hadn't put the correct signage up, and they said that a road was closed when it actually wasn't. Oh, there's a few people popping on. Hello, Carol, how are you? Yep, I'm live today in the afternoon, so an unusual time. I could touch up with a marker pen. Yes, could have done. Could do that with a marker pen. That would be a good plan. I think I'm going to leave it as kind of like a wintry look. Yes, I got stuck in traffic. They'd put kind of really poor signage up, and they said that a road was closed, but they didn't make it very clear. They said a road was closed, and then when I got to the road, that road was actually open, but the road following it was closed. So it caused chaos. I was rushing. I was getting really anxious about being late to go with the girls for swimming, and we just about got there in time, let us say. Got glue on my nail now. So this white embossed layer is going to go straight down onto my card base. Oh gosh. Nothing is happening very straight today, is it? It's one of those days. I actually woke up this morning and didn't know what day it was. And I don't know whether that is like not the best way to start the day, but normally I just seem to know instantly exactly what day of the week it is. But today I had no idea. No idea. And we had a really busy weekend as well. We were away for a wedding. So I'm just going to pop glue on the back of here and then around the outside of my frame. I'm going to pop this right down in the middle of my card. Yeah, we had a wedding at the weekend, which was near kind of Doncaster way, so a bit of a journey. We had an overnight stay, had a lovely time, really lovely time. Let's pop our house in. We didn't get back until Sunday afternoon, so it's good to get away though. Got a little bit of gardening done on Sunday evening. Just pull the backs off. So I've just popped dimensionals on the back of the house and the roof. And I'm going to slide the house behind there. So I'm going to put a little teeny weeny bit of Tombow at the bottom, lift up the hill, and then wedge that down under and give it a press so the glue sticks down there. Then I'm just going to pop a teeny weeny bit of glue there just to hold this part of the roof down, otherwise it kind of hangs in there a bit, doesn't know what to do with itself. So we've got a little house and with a roof on. Then my plan on my original card was to put this here, but I just don't know if that just looks a bit too festive. So I thought I might chop it off and just have some of it on there. How far around do I want to go? I might just go to there. I'm going to chop it off. Could look awfully wrong, but we shall see. We've got a bit of an edge, but I think if we let that hang over the white, you won't see it. Yeah, I think we'll leave it like that. Give it a bit of a curl, and then we'll put it in place. So I'm just curling over the edges. Pop a couple of dimensionals on there. So what have you guys all been up to? What did you do over your weekend? So we've had a bit of rain, not a lot. Managed to get some more water in the water butts down by my greenhouse, which is always good. Tomatoes are coming really fast now. So be finding recipes in my Thermomix to use up the tomatoes. Be having lots of passata and tomatoey based sauces. So I'm going to pop that up there. Not sure how this will look, but we shall see. And then we're going to have, let's do some cutting first. Let's do some cutting, because this is the fun part. Well, it is for me, may not be for all of you, but I just love all of the elements in here. I love these colours together, and I have cut a few bits ready. So just move you. And then I've got some other bits to cut. So I've gone ahead and cut out those fussy-ish pieces. Don't dismiss these, even though they're chopped off. These will be really good for like hiding behind layers. So if you'd fussy cut that, you could still use that because if you hid it behind something. So it's me being tight again. I know it's hard to throw things away, isn't it? Let's trim around this little butterfly. Yes, Carol, I had to do that. Was it last year? I had so many tomatoes. I just didn't know what to do with them. So yeah, I was making passata and just freezing it. And I did get through it all. But I didn't grow as many plants from seed this year. I've kind of like learned from my mistake. Because I just end up with so many like seedlings. and I just want to pot them. And then I end up with a greenhouse that is literally brimming with tomatoes. So I've got a few different varieties. Got like some, I can't remember the actual names, but like your general vine tomatoes. And then I've got some like cherry ones, which are so sweet. And I think, was it yesterday, I dug some potatoes and picked some lettuce, cut some lettuce because we have loads of that as well. So I'm feeling it could be a chicken salad kind of night tonight, or chicken fajita with salad. That would be good because I've got cucumber that I've grown. I've got some spring onions I could throw in. My carrots are slow. My second batch of carrots are very slow. So I'm just cutting out this leaf here. Just because the colour kind of fits really nicely with the sort of soft suede and crumb cake. Now, I do find these images are a little bit fussy to cut around, so definitely when you're trimming, leave that white edge. It will make it easier for you. I think, let's have a look. Where are we at? That might be enough. If we need something else, we'll cut it. Let's put those bits in the bin and then bring back in these. So I want to, do I want to raise that? No, I'm going to keep that layer flat. So I'm just going to pop some Tombow on here and have this hanging down here in the bottom right corner. And then make sure that that word is somewhat straight. And then the second part of it that I cut out, I'm going to raise that on mini dimensionals. I quite often do a lot of bruschetta and things with the tomatoes. And there's some really great recipes on the Thermomix, like pasta dishes and like risottos where you just throw in tomatoes. There's a lovely spaghetti dish where you just throw in loads of cherry tomatoes at the end. So I tend to like use what I've got and just go with recipes from the Thermomix just to help me out with a bit of inspiration. Right, let's just curl the edges on these. To be very careful because they're quite delicate. And curl our little butterfly. I'm going to pop that one up at the top here. Just going to pull off a dimensional and kind of put it half in and half out. Take the lid off. And then we'll have it up there. And we'll have this little one popping out behind it. I'm not going to pop a dimensional behind there because this garland is already raised up. So we're just kind of bringing in a bit of colour. And then down here, I am so warm in here today. I'm looking out of the windows and trees are not moving very much now. You find that, don't you, as the day goes on, it just tends to get like warmer. Although I really don't enjoy it so much when it's overcast and hot and muggy. I'd rather the sun was out and it was like the temperature was a bit lower, but it was sunny. Great day for washing, doing your washing, getting it dry though. Margaret, you like the design, you haven't got the set, so I have to see what you've got in your stash. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way around like recreating. I don't expect that, you know, everyone has, where do I want this one? This bundle, although I would highly recommend it. I think it's very multi-purpose. Just wedging in these leaves, because it's such a kind of all-rounder. And I'm going to call that one done. I don't think it looks too festive. The butterfly kind of I feel, makes it look more autumnal. Just wondering if a bit of twine somewhere might help us out. How well are you stuck? Pretty well. I don't know. I'm feeling like I need a bow or something over this side, but I might just leave it at that because we really do not have lots of time. Do you want a bit? I want a little bit of greenery like I had on my original one though. Just, I've got my scissors ready. Just want a little bit of a leaf. I might just steal that. This is going to be the fussiest bit of fussy cutting. She says going silent and concentrating. Don't want to chop off a leaf. Did you hear that big sigh from under the table then? Right, and I'm literally just going to pop a bit of Tombow there. That's really bad cutting, but that bit's going to be hidden. And we'll just have those poking out there. I still feel that this card isn't very balanced. I feel like we need something over here. I'm going to try with a bow just to see what it looks like. It'd be very random having a bow popping out the bottom of my house, but you know, anything goes. It's my card. I can organise it and design it the way I choose. Whoops, we nearly lost that then. No, I don't think it's right. I'm going to leave it as it is. Be a bit of food for thought. I could have a play around with it. Maybe it just needs like another bit of foliage or something. Do you know what I mean? Just coming out of this side. But I will have a play around with that one. And I think it's because, let me bring in my original. On my original, I stamped my tree much better. And Margaret, you're saying you wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't like it on there either. Because I had the whole of the garland up there, I think it just balanced it more. But in hindsight, because I've chopped it off here, I maybe should have moved my Let's Celebrate over and have some of my foliage over there. But I think it's okay. I think it will pass. I'm sure somebody would enjoy that. But I think that could be a good masculine card. It's not too kind of feminine. So that is the first one. How are we doing for time? Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to go really quick with this next one. So, because I would like to show you the final project. Oops. Right. Base card of basic white. Let's fold it down the middle. And we're going landscape with this one. And I've got two pieces of extra cardstock. I've got a piece of Evening Evergreen, which measures 3 5/8. No, 3 3/4 by 5 3. And then one that is just an 1/8 shorter on each side. So those are going to be layering on the front. Now I also need, I've got a frame that I did earlier. So maybe try the piece of garland that I cut off. That's a good idea. I will have a play around with that. I'll put it next to it and have a little play around. I could also just shove that piece back on if I feel it looks too unbalanced. I need to just emboss this one. So I'm going to run that through my timber. Which way do I want it? I think we'll have it that way. Just line it up to that line. I'll run that through quickly. Such a great... don't look at this code as well for... The code is different for the celebration item. It's definitely different. So love this one. And I'm going to mount this one together so that I know where it is. So this is going straight onto my evening evergreen layer. Like that. And then I'm going to pop that straight down onto my base card. It's like speed crafting. No, I shouldn't rush, because I enjoy this time, and I know a lot of you do because you tell me, even though I'm the world's biggest faffer. I'm the world's fussiest person, but it's the way it is, the way I am. Right, to start with, I'm going to pop this frame straight down onto my base. So a little bit of glue around here. Try not to get glue all over my fingers. And I just want to pop it centrally down. Like that. Not sure if that is super central, but it's down now, so that's where it's staying. Then I want some more pieces of that pattern paper. And what do I need? I want some mushrooms and a butterfly. I've cut a couple of pieces out ready. Let's just trim around. I'm going to save that for something else, just because it's using the Parakeet Party, which is that really bright green that I'm not a huge fan of. So I've kind of gone for elements on this paper that are more kind of evergreen in colour than Parakeet. Although it does team really well together, just not the hugest fan of that colour. So we've got a butterfly, and then we'll just trim around these toadstools or mushrooms. That was a bit close. Straighten up my back while I'm cutting. I'm not going to be too fussy because I think a lot of this is going to sit on a white background, so you're not actually going to see in all of the nooks and crannies. Snip down there. Oops. What else do I need? Oh, I need one of those fussy ones. Let's put it together and see how we go. Right, I need to do a little bit of stamping. Only a very little bit, just for my greeting. And I'm going to use exactly the same one as I did before. So the Let's Celebrate You, that's from the Celebrate with Tag set. Stamp that one in the middle. And then we'll have Celebrate there. Just cut that out again as we did before. We did it in white last time, but this time we're using crumb cake. So don't always think that your greetings have to be stamped onto the basic white. It's lovely creating greetings on sort of labels and things in different colours. Let's try and get that straight and even. Just run those through quickly. So who's got this paper, or who is wanting this paper? because you haven't got long left. There isn't long left of Celebration. Such a great free item to choose. There are some other great items. If you love the hippos, then I'm sure that would, you know, might be your first choice. But now that I've actually got this paper in my hand, you can see just how fabulous it is. Put those back. Always like my dies to go back where they came from so they don't get lost. May have to do a little bit more fussy cutting, but we'll see how we go. Right, the other thing I pulled out is just to kind of ground this frame, is just a strip of Evening Evergreen from my stash. Sorry, bits and pieces in the bin. And this is just a random piece. It does measure 5/8, so just over ½ inch. And I'm just going to cut it. I just want it to overhang that edge slightly. So if I trim it and then I'll cut it to a measurement. Well, it's 4½. Don't need to cut it. It actually measures 4½. So we just got, it's just kind of like overhanging. I've got Tombow under my nail. It's just kind of overhanging a bit. I don't know what that is on my nail. It's ink, I think, that's gone under my nail. Now, is that too long? No, we'll leave it at that. Slightly wider than my original, but that doesn't matter. Just run some Tombow over it. I'm just going to lay it down at the bottom of this label. Just so it's just showing the frame like that. And then right in the middle of the card, I'm going to stick my greeting. Like that. And pop this one on the top, like we did before. Alpha's having a good shake. He's finished his antibiotics now. I think I told you last week he was on his antibiotics, but he seems to be okay. Seems to be doing all right. Right, let's pop these mushrooms down. Toadstools, I guess. Don't really get red mushrooms. If you do come across a red mushroom, definitely don't eat it. We do get, when we go down the lane and across the fields, you see some really peculiar looking mushrooms that are so well formed. They look so pretty, but probably very dangerous. Right, I just want to wedge this under this layer here, just to hide the edge. Push it up like that, and then we'll add in some, oops, dropsies, some foliage. I find the pattern on the back of these quite distracting. So on the back of this sheet, it's actually all of the rings that the die cuts those out, the tree rings. And when you're cutting, when you're turning over to pop glue on, you can't really see what you're doing. Right, I'm going to wedge that under there, like that. Then let's put one of these under the top parts to give us a bit of balance, because balance is good. And maybe a little bit of Tombow on there. Oop, stuck to me. And then our little butterfly, we'll curl his wings. And I think I might stick him flat. I did raise it on my other one with dimensionals, but I think we'll just leave that one flat. Get rid of that glue. I definitely need another bit of, I wonder if we could use that bit, whether it'll be long enough. I think I'll have this one. I want some more red berries. I didn't really want to do too much more fussy cutting for you, but doesn't take long. Can you actually see? Yes, I think you can. Not going right the way into the centre of it. It's always tricky doing the stem. If you kind of hold it, I'm going to trim some of that off anyway. Give that a curl. Pop a dimension under, and I think because it's tucked under, I'm not going to anchor it. Do I want... about there? That will be fine. And then I'm going to go back to the original sheet that I was cutting from a couple of weeks ago, and I just want a little house. I want this little one, I think, because it fits in with the colours. I'm going to keep that little tree on there. So this is slightly different to my original. They are all kind of slightly different, the trees. You think you're cutting the same one out, and then it's actually either like a mirror image of one that you think you're cutting out. We'll just go round like that. Pop a little dimensional behind there. A little bit of glue on the bottom. Oops, I nearly dropped it then. And then we're just going to feed it. Oh, hiding my greeting then. Like that. And then to finish, I want to do a double bow, so I'm going to tie one bow loosely first to get my length, which would be there, and then I'm going to cut 2 pieces at that length. Straighten them out a bit, and then tie them both together. Just pull that loop through. Sorry for those of you that struggle tying your bows. People say, how do you make it look so easy? And I think it's just because to me it is easy, but I know to some of you, you find it quite hard. That's it. I'm going to just level off those ends. Grab a glue dot, roll it. Oh, you can tell it's warm. Didn't even want to come off. And we'll pop that down on the bottom and then add in our bow. I think I want to just trim that. Let's get my big scissors, it's much easier. They're much sharper. Oops, that went in my ink. Get rid of that straight away. And there we have, I would say, quite masculine. I would give that as a man card. Very kind of autumnal looking card. And this is my original here. So you can see the house is kind of like a bit of a mirror image, slightly different. In fact, it is just a mirror image. So there we go. I don't know if I'm going to be overstaying my welcome with you guys. Let's have a quick look. Sorry, I've got so engrossed in what I was doing then. So, Joe, hello, how are you? You're so cold there in Perth. You couldn't get warm. Longing for some warmth. I remember those long winter months. They will be with us soon, and before we know it, your spring will be with you. So, sending warm hugs your way. Okay. Shall I do the next one quickly? It's a box. I'm going to do it. Let's just do it. And I'll try and do it quickly. She says, okay. Oh, finger right in the soft suede ink then. Get rid of that. Right, let's find some pieces. I have actually done some scoring ahead of time, so I'm starting, so this is a little, I call it a biscuit box. I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. Wait for that to catch up a minute. Let's just unplug my charger because my Mac has finished. Pick up all the bits that have blown off the table. Just come down a little bit. Let it catch up. Yep, would work great as new home cards as well. Change the greeting out maybe. So retirement cards, they would work for kind of all round. Right, I've got 2 pieces of basic white cardstock. So this is a little box. I call it a biscuit box because it fits a little packet of biscuits perfectly. And it measures 8 1/4 by 5 inches. That's for the base of my box. Not very often I do a box on here, which is why I just want to finish what I was doing today. And then we've got another piece of cardstock that measures 5 3/4 by 3 1/4. Just come down a bit lower and you can see the measurements. And what I have done is scored both of them. And I'll go through the scores with you. And which way have I done it? That's probably the best way. So I have scored on the landscape edge at 3/4 of an inch, 3 7/8, 4 5/8, and 7 3/4, and then I've turned it portrait and scored, let's just check that is, yeah, scored at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, I'll try and remember to put those in the description when I upload the video. And then I've taken out the bottom left rectangle on here, the shorter edge. So this edge here is wider, okay? Then on the lid piece, I've popped it in and scored it at 2 1/2 and 3 1/4. Okay, so that's landscape. So remove those out of the way. So they're really simple. You could elaborate on this box so much more. I've just done it really plain and simple in basic white and crumb cake. And then what we need to do is just fold on those score lines. Just so that the box comes together nicely. A bone folder is such a good tool to have. Okay, and you can see how when we glue these together, how this is going to create a little box. And before I glue it though, I'm going to put on some layers of cardstock. Let's just crease these pieces on the lid, these edges. I may have to trim a smidge off of this. Did I say it was 3 1/4? 3 1/8. 3 1/8. And I probably said it was 3 1/4. Yeah, so it's 3 1/8 by 5 3/4, the lid. We may have to take a slither off and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, so what I want to do first is find the front of my box, and I always have the front edges folding over and then any join will go at the back of the box. So this will be the front panel, and on here I want to layer with a piece of crumb cake and then a piece of basic white, but I want to emboss this one. So I'm going to run that through with the timber embossing folder just to keep it in line with what we're doing. And then this could be given as a little gift with one of the cards that we've made. Because I don't know about you, but it's definitely more about the packaging when you're given a little treat than what's inside. You know, it's about making something look far more special than it actually is. You know, if it is just a packet of biscuits, it's just a little token for somebody, isn't it? It's just like a little hello. So let's measure these for you. The crumb cake layer, sorry that I work in inches, that's just the way that I find it easier for me. So the crumb cake is 2 7/8 by 4 inches, and the basic white is 2 3/4 by 3 7/8. Okay, and those two just layer together with a tiny little amount of the crumb cake showing behind. So we'll just glue these two together. See, we've just got a nice sort of thin frame of crumb cake popping out behind. I seem to have Tombow all over me. And then we're going to lay that straight down onto our front of our box. So this you could replace with some really nice pattern papers if you wanted to. I just wanted mine to look very neutral, so that it could be given to a man. You could use any of the other papers in this set. Some of them are quite bright, quite busy, but you could still use them. And then what we're going to do is just assemble this. Now, an easy way of sticking this piece together is just to fold down that shorter tab and then stick these two ends together like that. So we're just going to pop some Tombow. I need to wipe the end of this. Getting a bit sticky, and then we're just going to put those together and make sure they're lined up. Ideally you should be able to do this flat on the table, but it's not 100% lining. That's better, like that. So we just end up with that nice shape. And then we're going to fold in those two little tabs, and then the back one goes in first. So this is the front. You want the back one to fold in so that the front piece comes over and we've got a nice neat edge across there. So I'm just going to put a bit of Tombow on there, hold those, bit of Tombow on here, and then we're going to just stick it all in one go. So I'm just going to push that together to start with, and then we need to get in there with something that you can just push down on. Your bone folder will do an equal job, but I just find there's a good end on. This take your pick tool is just the biggest gem you'll ever need. It's brilliant. Okay, so we've just got this basic little box like this, and my fold is over on the front. Just checking comments. And then for the lid, I have to remember which is front panel, although I think these are equal. 2.5, 2.5, yes, so it doesn't matter which goes where. Now, the lid you could directly stick to the back of the box if you wanted to, but I want mine to go inside, and it may just be because I've cut it to the same width as this measurement. It probably isn't going to go in because it just needs to be that little smidge shorter. So I'm just going to pop it in my trimmer, and I'm not even taking a 16th. I'm just taking a little slither off of the edge first to see if that's enough for this to slide in, which it does. Okay, that was just a small measurement. So I'm going to attach, actually before I do that, I'll put the front panel on. Before I do that, let's definitely put the front panel. So I've got 2 pieces here. Now, shall I emboss that? I didn't on my original. No, let's just keep it the same. Give this glue a clean. And we'll just stick these 2 layers together. This is where it would be nice to add maybe a contrasting DSP. You know, if you've got a busy background going on here, you could have like a really plain background on this top panel. But as I said, I've just kept it really simple. I'd love to see the way you adapt this and what you can create with this, using all of your lovely colours, all of your really bright pattern papers. Right, and then I'm just going to add, this wouldn't actually need to be this deep, but it just adds a bit more substance. So I've just added Tombow to that panel, and I'm going to slide that really carefully down in there and just line the top up like that. Can you see the score line there? Lay it flat, and then just take my bone folder in to press it down. Who else on here loves creating boxes and packaging? I feel like I don't do enough of it. Right, you may just have to like squidge your box around a bit. So we've just ended up with a really simple box. You could put anything in here. This would be really good just to put money inside. Whatever you fancy. Put a gift card inside here. It looks like it's not sitting straight, but it does sit straight. Right, what I'm going to do next, I need more cardstock. But this was the leftover piece from one of these frames. Do you remember how I cut these? So this is the centerpiece from here. So I told you we were going to use that. I need a bit of, just grab some soft suede cardstock. And we're going to do the exact same greeting in soft suede ink on soft suede cardstock. And I also need one in white. So exactly the same, but just the word celebrate. So we'll die cut those quickly. And we haven't got too much to do on here, and I'll be out of your way. You can get on with your day. Of course, the great thing about the catch-up is that you can pause it. And then I need to go and think what I'm going to do for dinner. Like I said, probably be chicken fajitas with salad this evening. Run that through. I don't think I've got any more die cutting. Try and get this bit of washi off. Hello, Belle, my lovely. How are you? I know you love making a box. I just think giving, I say this to you a lot. You will know I know this, but giving something, be gentle, Kerry. Giving something simple, a chocolate treat or an expensive chocolate treat, but packaging it just makes that gift look so much more like it came from a very loving heart. I just think there's something special about it. Right, I'm taking my frame. I'm going to add my greeting to the centre. Like so. Such a job to see if it is in the centre. Can't pick anything up. Add some dimensionals to here. You've got this paper, haven't you, Belle? You'll be happily fussy cutting away. And then we're going to lay that one over the top of the other one. Like that. Then I've got some bits that I've cut already. Now this is where I was talking, I'm going to do this in a different colour. This is where I was talking about the parakeet party, trying to get a look in. And we do have like a parakeet party butterfly. So let's just cut this out and I'm going to see if I can hide over, or I may not need to, I may just keep it with the parakeet party. Let's see what it looks like. But on part of the paper when I was cutting out, I was left with half of that mushroom. There was no stem on it, and I thought I'm not going to throw that away because I might be able to make use of that. And if you're like me, you find this green quite bright. I fathomed that that one would sit directly over the top of it and hide it if I wanted to. But I think I'm going to put it on and see how I feel about it. See if I hate it. If so, I'll have to choose a different colour butterfly. So we'll pop dimensional behind there. These are slightly bigger than the original mushrooms that I chose. Don't want to hide that greeting. Could come a bit unstuck here, but we'll see. It's hanging over the edge a little bit. Then we'll pop this one up here towards the top. And I'm just going to tuck it in, behind my greeting. Oh, I've used all different leaves, so it's going to look slightly different. So I said the leaves on this paper, I don't know how far the repeat is on it, but I mean, there's loads on there. Look at them. You could choose whatever you wanted. But some of them look the same, but they are slightly different. A bit like I said with the houses. I feel like I want to stick with the green, but then it's not going to go with my card. Oh, decisions. Maybe I'll just have to make another card. Right, I think that'll be the plan. Let's pop this little flutter by up here. And then I think we'll have this bit of greenery hanging on in the edge just to blend in. I'm going to tuck it right under like that. Okay, so we've just got this little label. And then, where are you hiding? The lovely, what's it called? Natural Finish ribbon. How gorgeous is this? Just going to wrap this around my box. Oh, this is khaki handed. I don't want to get it in my ink. Let's move that out of the way. You know what my track record is like for dropping things in the ink when I've finished. I'm just going to tie it in a knot. It does like to fray, this ribbon, and I'm going to be honest, I've not tried torching it with a lighter to see whether it seals the end. I've got a feeling it won't. It would probably just catch fire. So do not do as I say, but can you see how it really frays on the end, which you might like that kind of rough and ready look. I'm not a fan of it. Let's cut quickly, get a crisp edge, and I'm going to move that up to the top of my box. Just bring it over the edge like that, so that we've got a nice knot on the top. God, I'm talking like a robot now because I'm thinking, not on the top. Thinking and concentrating. Honestly, I think I'm going cuckoo half the time. And then I'm just going to pop on some dimensionals. These stick really well to this linen-y ribbon. And this is like a belly band. Oops, can't get the lid off. So I've got that kind of nice and centrally on there, and then we're just going to pop that down on top. Like that. And then we've got a really simple little gift box. You can just slide this on and off. Dare I say, I quite like it with the parakeet party on there. Yeah, definitely embracing the rustic ribbon. Honestly, adore this ribbon. It's just beautiful. Love anything natural. Here's my original, complete with frayed edge. Let's just trim it a bit. It's very hard trimming. Close to the edge. If you haven't got a sharp pair of scissors. I'm going to have to make a card now using, I've got some of these scrappy pieces left over. And then literally, you can just slide the belly band off, open it up, and then inside, we've got a simple packet of biscuits. But imagine just giving that to someone who's having a bit of a rough day, giving them a little card to say, let's celebrate you because you're such a great person. Here's a packet of biscuits. Or, you know, because who wouldn't be chuffed with a border biscuit, especially a butterscotch crunch. But how about popping something special in there? A gift card would sit in there. You could even just put the gift card, glue-dot the gift card on top of that, just to give your package a bit of weight. Or you could put some money in there, or like a jewellery gift. And then literally just stand your ribbon back on, give it a little tug, and there you go. You could have caught, well, it'd be better if you lined it out better. That's it, pull it down. You could replace the ribbon or even add in a cardstock belly band behind there just to make it more secure. So that would mean taking the length of an A4 and then wrapping it around, cutting a strip. See if I've got one in my scrap. I don't know if I will have. I don't know if it will be long enough. You could always join it. Let's have a guesstimate. don't think that'll quite be long enough, but I will do this just to explain what I mean. So start at the back like this, wrap it around. Oh, it is long enough. Like that, and glue it loosely. If you glue it too tight, it will be job to get on and off. Glue it so that there's like a bit of sag here, and then you could wrap your ribbon around that, and it would just make it easier to get it on and off. So it's not hard to get on and off, but it would be easier with that piece of cardstock on there. So I think that is just from using a little bit more than, well, less than a sheet of cardstock, and you've got like a ready-made gift box to put something in. So there we go. Today's projects, lots of fussy cutting. I do appreciate that. We've got different light here as well, different light at this time of the day. Something else to notice. Thank you, Belle. But don't miss out on this paper. It's fabulous, and by teaming it like I have with a festive set, you can see that you can create something that isn't Christmassy. In fact, it's very autumnal, so that you're getting a good run for your money with that stamp set, using it way ahead of Christmas before you do Christmas projects. So, right, what else do I need to show you quickly before I go? What is the time? 4:05. What time did I come on? 2:30. I've only been an hour and a half. That's not too bad. Not too bad. So I just wanted to tell you about an event we've got coming up, and it's a free event, card making. It's a virtual event, which means it's online, and it's all to do with World Card Making Day for 2022. I'm going to go off. Excuse me. Still got that tickle. It doesn't want to go away. And basically, it's on the 1st of October. As I've said, it's a free event. I'm trying to think how long it's for. I want to say 3 hours, but that could be totally wrong because I've read it and not absorbed that information. Well, let's just say my brain hasn't absorbed that information. It's not very good at doing that. But so it's to celebrate World Card Making Day. You need to go onto the Stampin' Up website, which is www.stampinup.uk. On the 1st, there will be a link to join this event, okay? There are some product bundles that you can buy ahead of the time to use, and there is one exclusive new product that has been released for this, so very exciting. And that the products that I think there's going to be 3 demonstrations, so maybe it won't be 3 hours, maybe it's 3 demonstrations, and they're using the cottage rose, the cottage wreaths, and then this lovely new set from Jenny for her $1 million sales stamp. Doesn't show this very well on here, but you can look at this online. So you can actually order these ahead of time, and it tells you what colours they are going to be using, okay? So you need to look this up. I will put something up on my blog. It's been so hectic lately. I haven't even done a blog post yet since within the last couple of weeks. Honestly, it's something I do aim to do, and I've probably been spending less hours working during the school holidays than I normally would. So I need to just get on top of everything, and with prep for my retreat, my weekend retreat as well, I feel like I'm doing a juggling act with everything, but we will get there. We will definitely get there with all of it. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's projects. Think about what stash you've got you could use to recreate these in some way or form. But of course, you've got the measurements for the box. I'd love to see what you do with that. Use pattern papers on it, make it bright. I wanted mine to be very kind of neutral, as I said. Right, I will love you and leave you. I will be back with you all very soon. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for those of you that have joined me for the live. And I'll see you all very soon. So bye for now.